Well, blowing and snowing and raining yesterday, purely nasty day. Is forecast to be that way through late morning, early afternoon today, but it broke clear today. It cleared off early this morning sometime, and blue sky. We had a little bit of fog. There's some clouds building up now as the fog raises. It froze just lightly last night, overnight, not near as hard as what it has been the last few weeks, but it's warmed up pretty nice now. It's supposed to be in the 40s the next few days during the daytime. Of course, freeze at night, but beautiful day today. It makes me wish I'd had the airplane out and ready to go and could have launched it this morning. It was flat calm out there, but I didn't want to have it out yesterday in that weather that we had yesterday, so we'll get it. The hangar opened back up and the airplane ready to go today, and we'll go launch it tomorrow morning. I installed the battery back in the airplane and everything works there. Oh, I've only got one more thing that I need to do. Actually, two more things I need to do. I've got the little trim weather strip that goes around the bottom of the door. I've got to glue it back on. I just put the glue on it, and I've got a contact cement. I've got to let it set up before I stick it together. And then I've got to put the two little teardrop covers over the pulleys on the top of the wing for the ailerons. I can't really reach those now with it on floats. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a plane out and then use a ladder to get up there to those to get them on so I don't screw anything up, including me. So the next thing I've got to do is to get these doors ready to open. I've got uprights, posts in here in the center while I split the distance between the edges of the beams there on the ceiling, and I put posts in on both sides that those doors butt up against, the left hand and the right hand door. And the doors are bolted to that timber, the beam. That's a 2x6 in there, two 2x6 or two 2x8s actually bolted together. And the doors are bolted to that to hold the doors closed and add rigidity to everything. So I've got to take those bolts out so I can get the doors open. So that's the next thing I got to do, is take those bolts out of there. I got junk stacked up against both doors. The one on the other side is the worst. I got all kinds of junk stacked up against it. I'm not going to take the stuff that I've got hanging from the doors down, but I got to move the junk that's leaning up against the doors away from them. So I'll get that done, get the bolts out. Then I have to get the Bobcat going and get the forks to move the doghouse out of the way and the Bobcat out of the way so that I can open the doors up. I got the skid steer going, and I got the chains off of it. I don't think I'm going to need the chains on there anymore. We may get a little bit more snow, but I'm probably not going to plow anymore. Oh, and it's all dry here now, so I don't need them for getting the plane up and down the driveway. I left them on in case I needed to use it getting up and down the driveway in case it got icy, but I'm not going to need that. So I got that going. There was a pallet. My wife's winter tires were sitting over there on a pallet, and I moved those up by the house out of the way, and then I got the doghouse moved out of the way. I'm going to have to move the porch off of the cabin out of the way. When I built that porch, I put 6x6 uprights on the corners of it. I was going to put a roof over it, which I never did do, but anyway, they stick up high enough that they interfere with the wings on the plane, so I'm going to have to move that out of the way. I don't want to cut those off because I still may want to put a roof on there. I don't know. Maybe I should just cut them off and get them out of the way for now. Anyway, right now what I'm going to do is go ahead and get those doors opened up. I'm getting ready to pull the plane out of the hangar now. This is what we've got going here so far. I've got my little excavator out here for an anchor point. Now in times past I have used that to pull the plane out with, putting straps on it and stuff and just pulling it out a little bit at a time with the boom. But then we got the skid steer, and I had a hydraulic winch that I put on the front of it that I used to pull it out with. But that's boogered up right now, so anyway, I was trying to figure out what to do with it. I could have went ahead and used the boom on the excavator, but we got something a little different rigged up here now. We got my ramps set up there to skid the plane up onto the trailer with. And so what we've got here is a Harbor Freight, Chicago Electric or whatever, 12,000 pound winch. I lag bolted it down to the floor and just have a battery sitting up there, and that will pull it out. I got the cable run out, hooked onto the through a snatch block there on the excavator, tied onto the excavator, and then run back through these straps here. Got it out of the hangar onto the trailer, balanced pretty good, and it's all strapped down. So we'll get ready to move it over in the driveway there where we can get the doors closed and stuff on the hangar, get it buttoned back up. is good. I run it up to 2,000 RPM. I didn't run it any higher than that, but I run it up to 1,700. Check the mags. All that's good. It's idling good down to 500 RPM, which is good. Mixture control works. The carburetor heat control works. It's charging the battery right now, even at that low RPM. All the lights and everything worked on it. I checked the elevator, and it works correctly. I can't check the ailerons because I got the control locks on them, but I'll check those again. I'll let it run a little bit longer. I've got the avionics on, and the is that a 250 XL Garmin has a GPS in it. That thing hasn't been on for 5 years now, so it's going to take a little bit to find itself. It's got to find all of the satellites and everything. So right now it's got 3 of them, I think, located. So anyway, I'll let that run a little bit longer. There she is. She's sitting out on the trailer, one step closer to getting it in the water. Over 5:15 a.m. on April 10th. So it's time to get everything ready to get the airplane in the water here. We got all the equipment started up and running, get it warmed up, get the airplane warmed up. Frosted pretty hard last night, so there's frost all over everything. Anyway, getting started at it this morning.
Oh. He said don't stand underneath it. Well, I just wanted to make sure that your car wasn't in the way. Guess it's okay. Decide to start it up. Carl, get over here. You want all of those off, Carl? Okay, he wants all those tie downs off. He does this way better than I do. Well, there he is. And that, I see blue sky straight up. Whoops. Thank you. He's really hard to see out there. I guess he's just gonna warm it up for a while.
Yeah.
I lost him again. There he is.
Well, didn't this happen last time? He taxied over there and the fog lifted, and then he went to town.
Well, we got down the ramp, got him in the water.
We got the airplane launched. It's down at the seaplane float, the seaplane base, and up on the ramp tied down. Unfortunately, we didn't get any good video of it flying. In fact, I didn't fly it. It's about 21 or 22 degrees this morning and foggy, and we got the airplane in the water. It was so foggy down there I couldn't see any place, so I just taxied, took a heading on my GPS and just taxied down the Wrangell Narrows. And I taxied for about an hour in the fog, and it was freezing fog, and it was icing up on the airplane. The airplane was frosty anyway from sitting outside all night, but then in that fog, moving in it with the prop blast going over it, it built up a pretty good layer of ice on it. In fact, the propeller was slinging ice off of it. When I first heard that hit the floats, I just about come unglued, thinking something was coming apart, and then I figured out it was just the ice slinging off the propeller and hitting the floats. After about an hour, I finally got out to where it opened up and the fog lifted there to town, and I put the airplane up on the step and just step taxied, practiced some step turns and stuff, and step taxied on into town. I didn't want to try to fly it with a load of ice that it had on it, although after step taxiing for 4 or 5 minutes or more, the ice was probably melted off, but I didn't want to take a chance on it. So anyway, the airplane is down there on the ramp. Now I got to get my fuel system out and hooked up, my fuel hose and everything all hooked up again, so that I can get some avgas in my tank. I've got a little bit in there now, but not a whole lot, but I need to get some avgas in the tank, get everything ready for that, and then I can go down and fuel the plane up and take it out and do some test flying in it when the weather's good. It's supposed to be good for a couple days now again before we start getting the rain. So meanwhile, now we got to get things put away. I got to put my float trailer away. That'll get put away now until we pull the plane out again, which hopefully be next fall.